Right, so a while back I filmed a video called I started an argument online or something. This video here, because I was feeling a wee bit, what's the word? What is the word? Can't remember, but I was feeling a little bit cheeky. So I started a thing on Twitter about like who puts chocolate in the fridge. Do you store your chocolate in the fridge or not? And it started a whole thing and people got so into it that I just caused a war. And then I thought I'll film a whole video about stuff like this. So I filmed a video about like, do you keep chocolate in the fridge or not? Do you keep ketchup in the fridge or not? Do you put pineapple in a pizza? And you just got so into it and it was so much fun. The comment section was amazing. So I thought I'd do a Scottish version and start another war, because why not? I got so much pleasure out of it that I was like, yeah, let's do a Scottish version. Just cause more chaos. Why not? If you're new to my channel, I'm Erin. I make videos about the outdoors, Scotland, life, sometimes creepy things, sometimes periods, and mental health occasionally as well. Over 70% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so you should subscribe if you think you would be interested in that sort of thing. Okay, let's move on to the madness. I'm sorry in advance. So these are some things that I've seen online like over the years that really divide Scottish people. Scottish people get so passionate. We're full of passion, and there's certain things that really wind us up and certain things that will cause arguments in households or between friends or colleagues or whatever, and I'm going to talk about some of them in this video. There are also more, but I just thought I'd mention some in this video. So if you have more, then definitely leave them in the comments below and we'll maybe do another video at some point, but here we go. Right, first question. This is the most important one. This is the one that I've seen fights start over. So this like bathrobe, right? We don't call it a bathrobe. It's not a robe. It is a robe, but it's no. Do you call it a dressing gown or a house coat? Here we go. I'm a dressing gown person. It's a dressing gown. A house coat would be like, if I was wearing that about the house, that would be a house coat. But also the gown part is weird, but we'll skip over. It's a dressing gown. It's just, that's just what I grew up hearing it as. Let me know where you're from and if you call it a house coat or a dressing gown. I love this. I'm so excited about this. Right, next one. What do you call the remote? I call it the remote. It's just what we call it. But I know people that call it the buttons. I know people that call it a doofer, which is like, that's a good word. Right, I've heard buttons, doofer, remote. I can't think of any other ones, but I would love to know what you call a remote. See, I'm asking the important questions here. This is one of the most important videos I've ever filmed in my life. Next one. Lunch or dinner? Or dinner and tea? People elsewhere can answer these questions, but a lot of times I hear people calling lunch their dinner. I hear people calling their dinner their tea. And for other people that live in other countries, this must be so confusing, but a lot of times you just don't know what people mean. Like, are you talking about your dinner or your lunch? I don't know what tea, like what are you talking about? And we're not talking a cup of tea, we're talking a meal. So what do you call your lunch? What do you call your dinner? And again, where are you from? A lot of it has to do with like what you were brought up with and what your family called things as well. And a lot of it doesn't really just come down to the area you live in, because a lot of people in Western Bartonshire where I live call it different things. Like I hear tea and I hear dinner and I hear like all this stuff for different things, and a lot of times it can be a generational thing as well. So a lot of elderly people that I support in work will call their dinner their tea. I'm like, do you want your dinner or do you want your lunch? I don't know. Wait. Right. This is another one. I know that a lot of English people will say scone, but scone or scone, this is more for the Scots, this one. Do you say scone to rhyme with prawn? Or do you say scone to rhyme with phone? Let me know. It's a scone. That's why I think a cafe, like there would be such a good idea, such a good idea for a cafe name would be Scony Bean, like Sonny Bean, the cannibal, but like Scony Bean, like coffee bean, but like scone, so like cake and coffee. It's not cake. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? A scone and coffee. How do you pronounce scone? I mean, look at Scone Palace, eh? I ran out of space in my camera there. I've talked about this with my English friends before, and one of my friends, James, was so confused by the Scots words for juice, because he was like, everything's just called juice. Why do you not call it like Coke, Iron Brew, or it's just all juice? I would call all of these individual drinks juice. If they're not water, they're juice. Same with like fizzy juice as well. I'd call it all juice. Diluting juice, I'd call it diluting juice, but I would still call it juice. But I know a lot of people call it ginger, especially Irn-Bru. I think that's more of a Glasgow thing. But what do you call juice? Do you call it its individual name, like Coke? I'm gonna get, would you get me a Coke? Would you get me a, can I get a, like if you're in a restaurant obviously you're not going to say can I get juice, because they're going to be like, well what kind? But generally these actions are like something else. What do you call juice? I would just call it all juice. Diluting juice, fizzy juice, everything's just juice. This is just a curiosity question. Do you prefer Glasgow or Edinburgh? This is really going to start some arguments. I love both. Glasgow will always be my favourite because I live nearer Glasgow and I just find the people warmer, more friendly. It's just more, feels more homely than Edinburgh does for me. Edinburgh's amazing, Edinburgh's so pretty, but it's also more expensive and it just doesn't feel as welcoming and inviting to me as Glasgow does. So, but I absolutely love both of them. So would you prefer Glasgow or Edinburgh? Like really prefer? You can't say both like I did. Right, you know Chappie? I would call it Chappie. Some people call it Chapdoor Runaway. There's other weird names I've heard for it. Ding Dong Ditch, you know, stuff like that. Would you call it, ooh, would you call it when you knock someone's door and run away? Chappie. Simple. I know that other people in other countries call it different things, but Scottish people, what do you call it? Because it does vary. Salt and vinegar with your chippy, or salt and sauce. Edinburgh areas tend to have salt and sauce, which is like, right, we'll start with the fact a chip shop is a chippy and you get like fish and chips, which we call in Scotland a fish supper or like a sausage supper or whatever, but I think other places call them fish and chips, sausage and chips, but we supper. There's suppers in Scotland. And with your, say I like a smoked sausage, so if I get a smoked sausage supper, which is a smoked sausage and chips, I'll just get salt or salt and vinegar. But in other places they ask if you want salt and sauce, which is I think the sauce is like a mixture of vinegar and brown sauce. That's a whole lot. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But yeah, I've never had salt and sauce because I don't want that. Like around this area we don't do salt and sauce, it's all salt and vinegar. So I don't know if it's just an Edinburgh thing or if it's dotted about, but let me know what you get with your chippy. And would you order at the chippy as well? If you've never been to a chippy, do it because it's the best. I just remember asking for a supper in England and they were like, what? They didn't say what, they were English. Pardon? Do you call it square sausage or slice or Lorne? Because right, in Scotland we have square sausage, flat sausage, it's just a square shape. So like, so if I go to Greggs, which is like a local bakery, they'll ask square or links. So they're asking square sausage or links sausage and I always say square. No I don't, I say links sometimes, but I know that other Scottish people call it slice because it's like sliced into bits, or square sausage or Lorne sausage. What do you call it? Let me know. And if you don't know square sausage, Google it, it's fun. Potatoes, do you call it a totty or a tatty? You hear people, even in this area, Western Bartonshire, I hear both. So I hear tatty scone and totty scone. I hear totties and mince and totties, mince and tatties. I hear both. What do you call potatoes? Also when I wrote tatty or totty, auto-corrected to tatty or hottie. And I know that other people from other countries will just call them potatoes, but I just want to know what Scottish people call them. These are all the ones I'm going to put in this video because I don't want to cause too much of, you know, an argument. But let me know in the comments what you call all of these things and where you're from. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, you can follow me on my social media. I'll put everything down below. Thanks very much for watching and I'll see you later. Bye.